Hit the record button. Hi, this is Gloria, the pink-haired lady from Indianapolis, and I have another investor in Meet the Investor series. Today I have Jeremy Kister with me on my Zoom call. Jeremy is a local investor here, and I was just talking to him the other day, and he's got some really good real estate strategies and some different things that he's been doing that I know a lot of you new investors have not even thought about yet. So I just wanted to interview him today and just let you guys get to know Jeremy. So welcome, Jeremy.
Well, welcome everyone, and thanks, Gloria. It's really a pleasure actually to be here and talking to you. I'm actually excited to share some of the things I've learned through the past couple years I've been involved in real estate. So if you want me to, I can give a little introduction of myself and again, how I came from my W2 job to my real estate kind of passion now, and if we can go from there, if that's okay with you.
Yes, yeah. Go ahead, tell us a little bit about you and then kind of how you got started.
All right, so I guess you can hear my accent. I'm originally from France, actually. I'm from a super small village, 400 people actually. It's super small. Everybody know each other. Maybe a third of it is partly related to me somehow. Actually, it's an interesting place to start. But I've never been coming across real estate whatsoever. So I just want to put that out because I've never been again in contact to real estate before. So my job is based on science. My background is chemistry. I have a PhD in organic chemistry that I obtained in France, in Strasbourg, University of Strasbourg. It's actually a pretty good university in Europe and in the world. And after that, actually, I moved to the US. And basically, I'm looking at my notes because I don't remember exactly the dates. But yes, in 2008, actually, I moved to the US in Florida, more specifically at the Scripps Research Institute. I did my postdoctoral research over there for 2.5 years. And at that point, my wife was pregnant. So I had to find a job, and I said, okay, let's try first here in the US if I can, and if I cannot, we'll go back in France. So the first interview I got was actually in Indianapolis in a company called Dow AgroSciences previously, and now they became Corteva. So I got my first interview, I got the job, I moved to Indianapolis, and actually I like Indianapolis to raise a family. It's a pretty good place actually.
So was that 2011, 2012?
2010 actually was
okay.
At the low of the, I was lucky because it was at the low of the market, so we could purchase a house at a fairly good price actually. So that was a good thing. So that was pretty much my first real estate experience, is purchasing a house for our family, but that was it. And I guess I was lucky with 2010.
So you beat me here by a couple years. I got here in 2012. So
okay. Yeah, so after that, basically I work again. I'm doing research in we are trying to develop new herbicide to help farmers. Actually, we are trying to find sustainable solution, more less toxic, more environmental friendly solution. Basically, we are helping farmers to feed the world. It's a very nice and fulfilling job. But to be honest, after 10 years, I was watching my 401k going so slowly up. I say, okay, it will take forever to reach my objective of retirement, right? And so that's where I started to start thinking about other avenue to have a secondary income. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I look around and I came across a guy at work which was doing house hacking. So he told me about what he did. He purchased this fourplex, lived in one of the apartments and rented the 3 other. I thought it was a great idea. So that was my first really contact with real estate investment. And then after that, it started to go into listening to Bigger Pocket podcast. That was great. And then I came across this book right there, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And after that, this stuff blew my mind. to be honest. I mean, after that, you could not stop me about thinking about real estate. I was so excited. I said, okay, that's the way to go. And that's basically when I started to be so excited. And that basically was at the end of 2019. So 2019, beginning of 2020, as you recall, the COVID hit. I said, it doesn't matter. Now I'm all in. I'm going to go for it. So that's basically what happened with my first investment. And the first investment was done in April of 2020. And that was a single family 4-2 rental. So I purchased it. I purchased it from a wholesaler that I made some connection. So you will see throughout what I'm talking about. It's all about networking.
Yeah.
This is a people business. It's really important to meet people, because you always have to think about the fact that you don't know what you don't know, right? So always be able to be humble, not assume anything. And so that was my first one. Again, I purchased the property. I use the property management to do the rehab actually on this one. And I was trying to do the BRRRR strategy. Many people know that. So buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So that was my strategy because of all the things I've heard with bigger pocket, basically.
Yeah.
So on this one, I started to learn that you have to trust but verify. So I was trusting people a little bit too much. I was like, just say, oh, those guys are experts, so they must know what they are talking about. So it's not always the case. They don't have always the same incentives than you know. So you have to trust but verify. For instance, I give you some example. I didn't do an inspection on the property. And then after we find out that the roof had to be replaced, there was some water leak in the bathroom, and so that we have to replace all that. So long story short, the rehab estimate, which was the real rehab, was double the rehab estimate.
So the advice there is not only send your contractors in there, send a licensed inspector in there as well. That $300 could save you a lot in the long run.
You're exactly correct. I mean, and I would even advise to do for another $150 the scope of the sewer line.
Yep.
That's something that can bite you back later. So
yeah.
I'm thinking. Go ahead.
A lot of Indianapolis is so old that all of the sewer is the old clay type pipe that's very porous, and roots get in there and it collapses it. So yes, I actually used to work in a sewage treatment plant. That could be as much as $14,000. So very, very good advice.
Yeah, that's right. So $150 versus $10,000 plus your price. It's easy to do the math right there. Yes. So basically, but I learned a lot to that. And again, because I have a W-2 job, I didn't want to go into the property management work, you know. So that's why I directly started with the mindset of, I'm going to use a property management company so I can scale up, because I knew that it would be hard for me to do that alongside with my W-2 job. So that's the main learning here. And overall, now the property is doing fine. I have a tenant that is doing fine. So even so, all the hiccups end up being fine. And again, you have to almost pay for the learning. It's like you pay for going to school. Here you have to pay a little bit for the real estate school, so to speak. So
do you know your numbers on that? What you purchased it for, what your construction was, and what you're renting it for now?
So I purchased it at $98,000. I initially wanted to put only 16,000, but I put like again 30 plus 35,000, I believe. And then now the ARV is 145. So it was not a good BRRRR because I couldn't get all my money back after the refi. But now it's producing 1,350 per month, and it's cash flowing fine. So after all expenses, they are around $200 plus, and that's typically what I'm looking for. Everything that I can get after, again, maintenance, capex, vacancy, reserve, I'm looking for property that would cash flow at least $100 per month or plus.
Okay, so good rule of thumb.
Yeah, this one was fitting the bill. So yeah, so that